Hello and welcome to the Gothic Unicorn and part 2 of what's now becoming a series on the exterior of my witch's cottage. The cardboard covered lump with which we finished the last video has now been replaced with a cardboard covered lump that has received its first layer of paper towel based papier-mâché, which is going to be the texturing and the basis for my painting. Now this coat is dry because I did it yesterday, but it's taking a long time to dry because typically the weather has turned and it's now wet and cold rather than the lovely hot weather we were having last week. So this is where I'm at the moment, and I'm about to start adding some more. I have applied more of my papier-mâché tissue paper texturing on the outside of the stump and a small amount on the roof, and I'm currently waiting for that to dry. I have also ensured that my little access to my lights works, and it's gone from not staying shut to being very secure because I've put a lot of some really good Velcro in there to keep it in place. And I think my batteries are going because the lights are flickering a little bit. I'm going to start on the front door of the house while I wait for everything else to dry. And I think I'm going to begin by applying some paint to the inside. I'm probably going to go for a plain interior cut finish, mostly because I don't really like, dividing it up and doing it according to rooms, because when it's open it looks a bit weird. That's just my taste, if that's what you like doing. And then I will consider at some point maybe adding some curtains, maybe. The inside of the door has now had its couple of coats of grey paint. This actually took more than I was expecting and took longer, and I'm kind of happy with that. And the door has also had a coat of grey on the inside. I haven't done the outside yet because I'm undecided what colour I'm going to do that door in. I have also had to make a little bit of an alteration to the roof of the tree house, mostly because there was a lot of warping when it dried. This is just to cover up the big gap that had appeared at the top. It's not the ideal situation, and hopefully I can make it look a little less obvious with paint and some foliage and that kind of thing. My next step is to attack it with some Payne's grey paint, which is going to be my undercoat, and then I've got some brown paint to go on top. So painting is next. The first coat, the Payne's grey, is finished. Now I'm sorry about the light, it is a very sunny day today for a change, and I'm having great problems with glare. So since I work by the window, I've had to close the curtains and hope for the best. So as I say, it's had its first coat of the Payne's grey, which is my dark undercoat. I would have gone for black, but I was unable to get any black paint. I have been struggling, something chronic, getting paint at the moment. So this is actually being painted with artist's grade acrylic, so it's a bit shinier than my usual craft paint, but we shall see. So I'm going to do the brown next, and basically I'm just going to daub it on. I want some of the black to show through in some of the textured bits. This will then give me some of my shadows, and then I'm going to build this up with some other colours as well. The tree stump has had its first coat of brown paint. It needs more, but I'm acutely aware that I'm going to have to build this up in layers, and I'm quite pleased with the effect I'm getting so far. It's looking sort of old and worn. I have also started on the front of the doll's house. As you can see, I've added tin foil to the window frames to roughen them up a bit, and also around the door, and I've stuck a piece of cardboard in place, it isn't quite dry yet, so that I can make a bigger front step. In between coats of paint on the tree stump, I've been adding filler to the front of the doll's house to try and give it a bit more texture. I'm quite happy with how it's turning out, and hopefully once I've finished the shutters off properly and added some paint, it's going to look pretty good. The front has had its first coat of paint now, and I'm quite happy with how the texturing is looking. I think once I've added the final touches, it's going to work quite well. My next steps are to add acetate to the windows and to touch up the paint because there's still white bits showing, and then I'm going to see about the shutters and the front door.